What's up, world? We're here for another episode of Dreamchasers. I'm Lucas Barra, fired up to be here today. Dreamchasers is a show I created to help people from all walks of life to turn their dreams into reality. And really excited to have Brandon T. Adams on the show today. Brandon's got so much awesome energy and insight for you guys. A little background on Brandon. He's a serial entrepreneur, motivational speaker, crowdfunding expert, and great guy. So we're very lucky to have Brandon T. Adams on the show. Brandon, what's up, my brother?
What is up? Brandon T. Adams is in your house. I'm going to make so much energy in your show that everybody listening, they're going to be like, dude, this guy is on fire. That's what I'm going to give to you, brother.
I mean, I love it, man. I mean, whenever I see you're up at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., I mean, you're a machine. I love it. Like, there's
very to live this lifestyle because you just got to go, 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 go. But when you love what you do, I mean, it's hard. You know, the reason why I sleep is so I can get up and be energized to do it again. And, you know, if there was a drug out there that would allow you where you could go, it's a safe drug, that allow you to go without sleeping and go nonstop, that'd be awesome. But there's not a safe drug out there. It's called, it's bad stuff. But, yeah, dude, I love what I do, so I'm always going. And I work late, and I wake up early, and I do it every day.
Yeah, so why don't we get started with how you got started with being an entrepreneur?
I was born into it, man. So my dad, he was an entrepreneur himself, and he did many different things. And it wasn't until one day he had started an ice business. He sold packaged ice for a living. And yes, you can make money selling frozen water. And yes, I can sell ice to an Eskimo. I grew up in that business, and I got to see from a young age what it was like for him to fail, to succeed, the whole process of being in a family business. And he started that in '86. And I just bought his company out 2 years ago, but I got to see at a young age what it was like. So I was born an entrepreneur, but as a kid, I was always trying to sell things, sell a bike here and there. I did fundraisers. Have you ever done St. Jude's Bike-a-thon where you raise money for St. Jude's?
I know of it.
Well, I was the kid that always raised the most money. I won the bike every year. I always won popcorn sales for Boy Scouts. I was a born salesman. And that was my background. I went to college. Wasn't so good for me starting out. I had 1.68 GPA. The reason for that being is I drank too much beer, I did too many drugs, and I probably had a little too much sex, and I just did a lot of things wrong. Honestly, I was that kid that was a troublemaker. They kicked me out of the dorms 5 days before actually we even got out of school for certain reasons. About dropped out of college. But I learned what not to do, and I learned from them mistakes. And I always say this, I mean, it doesn't matter how smart you are, you can learn to get past things. So every semester after that, I went from a 1.68 GPA to 3.0 and above. But then I got directed to a book, which I can tell my story through that. But I got directed to a book my junior year at a presentation, and it was called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Have you ever read the book?
Mm-hmm. Our audience knows that book well, and I've read that 3 times.
Me too. You know, it's a great book, and I highly suggest anybody out there, if I could do one favor for you to change your life, it's read that book. And what it comes down to for this is whatever the mind conceives and believes, the mind achieves. And then one step more is whatever you think about the most is what you become. I took that shit seriously. And from there, I knew that it didn't matter if I had a 1.68 GPA. It didn't matter that I had lack of disabilities when I was younger and I wasn't the smartest kid around. I just knew that if I wanted something bad enough, I could set my mind to it and I could achieve it and go after anything in life being really big. I mean, you look at Andrew Carnegie, you look at Henry Ford, you look at Edison, you look at all these people. They weren't the smartest people. They just had a vision, and they surrounded themselves with a lot of smart people. You even look at Steve Jobs. He didn't invent Apple. You know who did? Wozniak created Apple. Steve Jobs was the guy that pushed the guys to go beyond what they thought was possible. So after seeing that, knowing that, I knew that as a person, I could do anything I wanted in life if I really just went after it.
Okay, so you had the college experience, and then once you graduated, what happened after that? Like, did you go straight into entrepreneurship? Like, tell us about that.
Yeah, so this is a good story. So Good question. So my junior year, summer going into my senior year, I was on an ice route, working in the family business, hot day. I was soaking wet. I mean, I felt like I jumped in a swimming pool with my clothes on. I was in Wisconsin delivering ice. And I went and bottled beverage, went out, took a drink, set it down, got in my truck, drove away. And I don't even think I had AC in my truck. I was so soaking sweat. And I went to take another drink, and it was warm. And I'm sure we've all had that problem before. I had 10,000 pounds of ice in the back of my truck. I could have put ice cubes in, but that's time consuming, especially for a regular size bottle. I wanted something that fit in easily, not only to keep my drink colder longer, but also to make it more enjoyable and flavor it. Well, that day I invented an idea, a product called the Arctic Stick. I took that idea to Iowa State University my last semester. Took a class competition. I spent the whole semester working on that nonstop. I didn't really have any too stressful classes beyond that, but I probably spent 30 hours a week on that. Won the class competition and graduated college. And I'm like, okay, I have an idea. Now what? And Arctic Stick and this journey was something that led me into crowdfunding, which we'll talk about more. But when I started, I had no money. I realized that the main things to take a product to market was lack of funds and lack of resources. Well, I had no money, and I went to my dad and I said, well, can I have like 20 grand? He's like, son, if you want to do this, you figure out yourself. Best thing he ever said. And what I did is in 6 weeks, I went to family, friends, and some fools and raised $10,000, and I'll pay back a loan, and then use this money to go forward with Arctic Stick and my idea. And that's why one thing I always tell people is this: when people say they don't have money or they can't afford something, I say, how bad do you want it? Because at the end of the day, heck, I was a broke kid out of college. I wanted something bad enough. I figured a way to get the money. So anybody out there, if you want something bad enough, you will get the money. So fast forward, I went through the whole product development stage with Arctic Stick, went through the tooling, the manufacturing. I got on the pilot run of a TV show. I ended up going through the whole process. And in 3.5 years, I had spent 100 grand on this idea and learned a lot in the process with marketing, everything else, and different ways to do funding. I looked at different options. But when I got towards the end, before I actually took Arctic Stick to market, I found out that I really like to help people, and I wanted to help more people with ideas, and I wanted to start a product development company. It was actually going to be called Adams Product Innovation, and this was a company. I had a full-out business plan made. I had my office picked out. I had the place in Des Moines where I was going to be. At that time, I had lived in Gardenville, Iowa, 3 hours from Des Moines, and I had $750,000 lined up. And at the time, I had a girlfriend. She lived in Minnesota. I told her to leave her job, and I said, we got all this money. We're going to start a big company together, become very successful, make millions of dollars. Moved to Des Moines and got there, got settled in, about ready to do everything. The last minute, and this goes down to your gut feeling. You should always follow your gut feeling. I realized that it was not going to work for me, that the deal was not going to be the deal I should make, and that I couldn't do it. The timing was not going to be right. I turned down the money, stopped dead in the tracks, and dropped everything. Basically, at that point, we were short on money. I had a different business, but I mean, trying to be able to afford the two of us and living in Des Moines, it was one of the lowest points I've ever hit in my life. But I learned this, that entrepreneurship is hard. It's a roller coaster. Sometimes shit gets really deep. But when you hit a low point in your life, you learn something about yourself that most people don't realize. You learn more about yourself, and it allows you to think forward in different ways. And what I did is I learned that some of your biggest successes are beyond your greatest failures. So I made a pivot, and I turned back to what I knew was Arctic Stick. This is July 2014. I did a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter. During this time, I got on USA Today for it. I pitched a Shark Tank casting call, got on TV. I even pitched to Lance Armstrong, believe it or not, and raised about 26 grand on Kickstarter and got done. And I realized that it was hard to do crowdfunding. I literally did everything wrong in the book, and I saw that about 65 to 70% of campaigns out there were failing. And I hated to see this. As an entrepreneur, we hate to see people fail. And I wanted to solve the problem of people failing in crowdfunding. So it was December 31st of 2014. My New Year's resolution was this, and that's actually my birthday, by the way, New Year's Eve. Great birthday. Everybody likes to buy you drinks on that day. But my goal was to be the top crowdfunding expert in the world. And I set out to do that. I started this podcast show, the University of Young Entrepreneurs. I interviewed people. And what I did is I didn't do the interviews over Skype. I actually went to their office. I traveled all around the country. I did 27 states that year. And then I met crowdfunding experts. I ended up writing a book on crowdfunding. And then I wanted to stand out more. I did something nobody else was doing. I went on TV across the country and talked about crowdfunding and then promoted local crowdfunding campaigns in that city. And then from there, and actually just last August, I decided, well, hey, we're going to start a company. Built a mastermind team of people that are experts in sales copy, social media, doing visuals, doing this and that. Built a team for Keys of the Crowd. And one of the most recent successes was meeting with John Lee Dumas for the Freedom Journal. Ended up doing that campaign for his book. We launched it on Kickstarter. And this is actually, look at it, it was actually like almost a year exact after my goal to be the best in crowdfunding. We launched a campaign and we funded it in 2.5 hours, the $25,000 goal. We hit $100,000 in 33 hours. In 33 days, we raised $453,000. And by the end, we had reached the 6th largest crowdfunding book launch in history. And at that point, I saw that when you set a goal, you visualize it, you work your ass off, and don't quit until you get it, you can see success. And now, since then, our company is scaling fast, and we're helping celebrities, and we're doing crowdfunding campaigns from people all over the world. And that's my story of how I got into crowdfunding. I saw the process of doing friends and family. I saw the process of investment route, and I saw crowdfunding, which was a great way if you knew what you're doing. And now that's what I do today, help people raise money through crowdfunding.
Well, talk about that, like at the beginning of like learning crowdfunding, because there are a lot of people out there who, if you were to listen to that story, it just sounds like a lot of success, but it sounds like there was also a pretty big learning curve for you. Yeah. So talk about having to get out of your comfort zone to kind of like get your expertise in crowdfunding going and like getting the courage up to like to do your first actual crowdfunding activities for people.
It's all about mindset. And this is whether you want to be an expert in crowdfunding, you want to be a top consultant, top podcaster, or everything. So I always say, I'm all about mental attitude. It's all about how you think. And if you convince your mind something, you can really, it shows. If you believe in what you're saying, it shows to people. So I always tell people where I'm going. And at that time, I said, I'm going to be the top crowdfunding expert in the world. And I did the steps to get there. And now I say we're going to be the top crowd service company, crowdfunding service company in the world by the end of the year. And we're on track to do that. So when you state what you're going to do, you convince yourself you're already there. And then other people see that and they believe you and they attract you and then they work with you. So state your goals out loud. Tell the world. It helps you mentally convince yourself you can do it. And do the steps necessary. Follow in the footsteps of people that have done it already. Learn from them. And become different in your own way and become the best. And it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of failure. I've done multiple campaigns, and the Freedom Journal was a big success. The Arctic Sick one I did was, we raised a good amount of money, but the thing is, I did everything wrong, and I worked myself like crazy during that campaign and saw what it's like. And I've helped other people with crowdfunding campaigns, and some of the people that didn't quite listen to me, they failed. Which is hard, but it's a hard industry it's tough. It can be hard to crowdfund, but if you have the right team and you put in the effort and put in the right steps, you can have success with it. And what it does for you is it does beyond raising money. It allows you to build up a valuation in your company. It allows you to build up your email list. Anytime somebody backs your campaign, you get an email. You get their email address. It allows you to get media attention. And it allows you to be attracted to other investors and potential licensing deals if you're going to do an invention or a product.
Wow, that's such great stuff. So first point I want to really harp on here is you were talking about, having the mindset of already being there and kind of like seeing yourself being there. That's like something I wish I had gotten when I got out of college, because I think we're normally taught as a society to kind of think about like where we're not, right? Or like, what we don't have in our lives, and to like literally feel like you're and think like you're already there is like the ultimate mindset shift, because what happens, like you experience, is you start to act like that person, and you start to create and attract the people in your lives who are like meant to make that happen. But like you have to, and then this kind of change of thinking for people, you gotta, like, even if you're working, making $40,000 a year and you want to be a CEO of a company, you have to imagine yourself already being that CEO, right? Like how do you act? What's your work schedule like? Like I cannot say like I wish I had gotten that sooner, because it's such a great tip.
It's all about visualization. And you go back to really any book, Beyond Thinking to Rich, and you look at any successful person, they will say this. They visualize their success, and they knew they were going to achieve it. Before they even got there, they had visualized it. You look like Jim Carrey. He had, great actor. He wrote a check to himself for $10 million, and he would go above Hollywood, and he would look over the city, and he had visualized himself being the best actor. Well, after Liar Liar came out, after that happened, he was on Oprah, and then, he had reached $10 million from that show itself. Will Smith does it. All these successful people have always used visualization, and they always knew they could do it. And that's why, I do it. And I believe, just quick example, the best visualization, great example is I just recently had an event called Young Entrepreneur Convention. And it was one of the largest in Iowa. It could be the largest entrepreneur event in Iowa. 8 months ago, this was an idea in my head from a podcaster. We both podcast. We have audiences. I got the same feedback from people. They said, Brandon, how do I start my own business? Where do I start? Like, just simple questions. They didn't know. And when you get the same kind of feedback, it's like, dude, here's an opportunity to create something. So I wanted to create an event. This is 8 months ago. I had never created an event in my life beyond having the senior party at my parents' cabin that had 250 people at it. I had never done a real event before, but I had threw parties. But I knew what I wanted to do, and I acted on it. And I knew I needed a team to do that. So I had a vision, I had a dream, and I built a team of over a dozen entrepreneurs. We worked our asses off, and every night I visualized being on the stage, and at the end of the night, having a standing ovation and having the feeling of accomplishment and having a huge success. Well, that happened 2 weeks ago, and I got to feel what it was like, but I had visualized the whole way. And I believe when you visualize, you set your mind on something, you end up doing the steps needed, and all the things fall into place. And they did, with a lot of hard work. So visualize where you want to go. Think about it every day. Focus on it. Work your ass off and make it happen.
That's great. So beyond the visualization, now that you've put on an event for the first time, what would you share with all the people out there who are about to maybe embark on putting on their first event, or thinking about putting on their first event, for like potholes to avoid, things that they need to do to put on a successful event that you wish you knew?
Think twice before putting an event on. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was well worth it. It was one of the biggest struggles of my life. I put so much work into it, and a lot of things went wrong in the process, but we ended up pulling off an awesome event that people were like, dude, and we had over 400 people there, and they're like, we looked like you've been doing this for 3 years. We had Kevin Harrington, Real Shark and Shark Tank. We had John Lee Dumas. We had Jeff Hoffman of Priceline, Caleb Maddox. I had Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man. I had speakers from all over the world coming to this, people from 25 states, 4 countries. Huge success. What I learned is this. I learned a lot, but it comes down to sell the vision for your team that you build. You need a team to do something great. Sell the vision about where you want to go, and they will believe in the vision, and they'll help you build that vision. Sell the vision, sell the dream to others, and they will follow you. 3 people on my team joined my team because they heard me speak at an event and they wanted to join the movement. And then sell the vision to others, but then also you need to find a way to add value to people in terms of the sponsors. I mean, you need money to do this unless your mommy and daddy are going to give you a bunch of money. I mean, you got to raise the money to pay for this event. I mean, it costs a lot of money to put an event on. So you got to find strategic partners, sponsors, and see different ways that you can add value to them. I mean, numbers, eyeballs. It's all about the eyeballs, right? It's like a podcast show. So I leveraged my podcast show at the time and my connections to add value to others. And we bootstrapped. I mean, we had a guy on our team that did videography. We offered some videography services in terms for a sponsorship. We did things what we knew. Our team all had expertise. We used that to add value to others, to get sponsors to help pay for the event, which helped us attract different big speakers and helped us to get more people to come. But we did a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo to raise initial funds, which we raised 16 grand then. But that money allowed us to attract all the sponsorship we had. So crowdfunding is a great way if you want to raise money for an event. We did it, and that allowed us to attract the rest of the funds, quite a bit of money, to put on the event. And it allowed us to attract big names too.
So all the people are going, all right, Brandon T. Adams, we want your crowdfunding tips. So like give the audience.
I will go through it, man. And anybody listening too, I mean, you can go to keystothecrowd.com and I have a 7-day free course. I put it there so people that always come to me, how do you do it? Hey, go to my course. But I'll go through this. It's called my FUND formula. It's simple. The acronym FUND. F-U-N-D. F is for forethought. U is for utilize marketing plan. N is for narrative. And D is for deliver value. First step, F for forethought. You got to prepare your crowdfunding campaign 45 to 60 days ahead of time. You're going to run a marathon. Are you going to show up on day one and plan to run 26 or whatever miles it is? No. If you do, you're probably going to pass out. Just like your crowdfunding campaign, you're not going to show up on day one and expect for success. You need to prepare for it ahead of time. You need to build up your email list. How do you do that? Create a simple landing page, have a website, direct people to, have a pop-up that says, hey, we're launching on this date. By subscribing, we'll give you a limited offer of 15% off or whatever you're going to offer the crowd on day one, and build up that list before launch. And then also you can do targeted ads to build up a list beforehand. I mean, we've built up a list of a few thousand in a matter of a week or so just through targeted ads. Build up your list of people that are interested in the product, and these are people that'll back your campaign on day one. And then also you got to create all the content for the page. You got to get feedback from people before you launch so they like it. Create your video. But the biggest thing is building up your list for day one, because on day one, the rule of thumb is what you need to do is you have to hit 30 to 40% of your total funding goal in the first 48 hours. And if you don't do that, your chances of success are going to be slim. Your chance of success, I mean, it won't be there. You got to hit 40% of your funding goal in the first 48 hours because that gives enough attraction on the page, Kickstarter or Indiegogo, where you potentially get featured. You get set in trending, more eyeballs to attract, and then you get organic sales. So how to get your 40% funding goal in the first 48 hours? By building up your list of committed backers on day one, get them all to back on the second you launch, you get that traction at the beginning. So that's the forethought process. Utilize marketing plan. You got to promote to the max. I mean, if people don't know about your crowdfunding campaign, how do they know to give you money? And the best thing is, I mean, you can go on podcast shows, have them air on day one. You can do social media sharing. The biggest thing is like Facebook, do Facebook ads, do targeting. It's crazy what they can do with targeting. I mean, I got multiple campaigns going on now, and if you see any of my stuff, you click on it, like literally we can target you nonstop. And anybody that goes on our landing pages, even if they don't subscribe, we have a code or a pixel where we can actually target you all the way past the campaign. So retargeting with Facebook ads. And then another key one is your ambassador program. And this is something that JLID, we did huge, is you get celebrities, you get influencers, you get people on board committed to help spread the word to your campaign. So they're sending out to their email list. They're helping you by shout out on podcast show. They're retweeting, they're sharing on Facebook. They're doing whatever it is to help spread the word. How do you get them to help you? I mean, offer them opportunity to be an elite ambassador. Maybe you put them on your website Some people actually offer affiliate. They'll give you, you can track and, hey, we'll give you 20% of whatever you direct to our campaign. Build up your ambassador group and your network to help spread the word. For John Lee Dumas, we reached out to every single one of his past guests, which is over 1,000 at that time, asked them all to help support the campaign. They didn't all support, but we asked every single one of them. They spreaded the word to their audience. Is your mind blown up yet now? Is it blown up yet?
Oh, it's already just like clouds are everywhere, dude.
So two more things. We'll so you're getting this. So that's for the utilized market plan. N is for narrative. You got to tell a great story. For thousands of years, the most powerful influencers, celebrity, anybody, they can tell a great story, and people attract to that. In your crowdfunding campaign, you got to tell a damn good story. It's no different than any sales copy. The best way to do that is through a great quality video. High quality video. Try to get it 2.5 to 3 minutes long. You have 5 seconds to grab their attention. If you can't grab their attention in the first 5 seconds, they won't watch the rest of the video. Everybody's ADD. I'm ADD. How often do you, going down Facebook page, how often do you actually watch the whole video of something there? And if you do, what did they do right? Were they funny? Were they a catch and grabber? What did they do crazy? You got to grab their attention. In the video, you got to tell the 3 to 4 main features of your product, your movement. And at the end, you have to have a call to action telling them exactly what they need to do. Back our campaign, be a part of this, contribute today. And then also on the rest of the page, you tell your story through the sales copy and visuals. The last step to my fund formula is D for delivered value. Why are people giving you any money in the first place? They want something in return. And the biggest misconception is people launch crowdfunding campaigns and they think that people are just going to give them money. It doesn't work that way. I've been a director of a nonprofit. I've seen how hard it is to raise money. People want something. You have to give them value. You have a product you're launching on the market, give them a 40% discount off the product, exclusive only during your campaign. Offer them creative offers like, hey, you're going to hang out with me and my celebrity friend for a day. Offer them you're going to do a phone call with them. If you're going to do a film, hey, maybe you're going to have them as an actor in one of the films. A great campaign on Indiegogo. They raised close to $5 million for Super Troopers. Do you ever watch Super Troopers? It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
The second one, you get a chance, check out their campaign. They had parts where if we raise this much money, we're going to have this actor in. Or, hey, if you contribute this much money, you can be B-roll footage in the film. Be creative. Have people be a part of it. But you have to offer value in your rewards. So if you follow that fund formula, which we teach all our clients, and we have in our courses, but we mainly, with our clients that we work with, we go through that and follow that step by step, because all the crowdfunding campaigns, by the coolest cooler, Pebble Watch, all the successful, all the failures, I've seen what it takes to succeed. It's simple. Follow the fund formula. You will have success with crowdfunding, and you can raise a lot of money. And that is my formula for crowdfunding success.
I just want to take a pause and let people digest how awesome that was. I mean, there's just so much value, and I'm going to link to your training and website so everyone can go check out and really dive into what you guys are teaching everybody, because it's so great. And I want to get into that moment when you first found out that you were going to be doing the crowdfunding for JLD, aka John Lee Dumas, and what that was like, because I can imagine that is a lot of pressure to have to deliver for someone like that. I don't know if he had been your biggest client to date, but I'm sure you knew that was a big opportunity for you. So how did you handle that whole process, outside of, the obvious kind of hard work and, great mindset for people so they can understand and really feel like they could do something similar with this situation in their lives and businesses?
So the best thing I told before about telling people where you're going to go and always adding value to others. Mm-hmm. I had JLD on my podcast show last summer. Well, wow, that was 2015. We're in 16, right? 2015, July 31st, he came on my show. And anytime I have somebody on my show, I get to pick their brain, right? Ask them questions, but I always tell them how I can help them. I said, John, hey, I have experience developing products, taking the market, and I'm also a crowdfunding expert. Anyway, I can help you. Well, he said, oh, yeah, well, I might be tapping into your service. I actually thinking about doing a Kickstarter campaign. right there, I knew I could help him. Right after the email or after the show, I said, hey, this is what I can help you with. Here's some call to actions. I added a lot of value to him. And next thing I know, we're on calls. Next thing I know, we're emailing every single day. And then I was the campaign leader for doing his crowdfunding campaign. And yeah, it was a lot of pressure, but I took on something that was bigger than me. And when you take on a project like that, you feel invincible. And then we had huge success with it. And then from there, that just set the bar. I mean, now I'm doing a campaign with a guy that was on Shark Tank. No, like actual Kevin Harrington. He, the original judge, the inventor of the infomercial, a huge, successful, famous entrepreneur, because I had success with one field. When you have success in one area, it attracts other success. Success breeds success. And what it goes back to is, for one, add value to others. 2, state where you're going. 3, do things that scare the hell out of you. Work your ass off. And then ride that wave and keep building your momentum. And that's how I got to work with people like that. And that's how I've been able to build this company to what it is today.
That's beautiful, baby. Well, why don't we talk about what you got going more specifically right now? Now that the convention's over, what's next, baby?
Oh, man, so this is what I'm doing now. I'm about to go on a big journey. I'm going on a speaking tour across the country. I already going to Florida and this month, and California. I'm going to all these big gigs. So I'm going to build up my company, Crowdfunding. We have a big team, and we're going to make it the best company in the world. And I want to be the best, and I want to help people raise money left and right. And then I'm also going to big on Brandon T. Adams' brand. I'm going to speak across the country. I really like helping people. I'm a damn good speaker. I can tell good stories, as you can tell. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build up the audience, and my goal is to be the top influencer in the world of my time. I'm 26 years old, and you think of people, and I want people to think of, when they think of crowdfunding, I want them to think of Brandon T. Adams. When they think of a lifestyle young entrepreneur, I want them to think of Brandon T. Adams. And I will do whatever it takes to achieve that, and I'm going to work my ass off traveling this world to inspire and motivate others to do what they love in life, because I believe every single one of us have a gift. We all have a gift in life. We all are meant here to do something, but you know what? We all do it. And the thing is, if I can show people that if you focus on your gift, if you focus on what you love in life, you can achieve anything in life. And that's why I always say at the end of my show, you go out there and create something great and become unforgettable, because life is too short not to. Because life is short. You could die tomorrow. I could die tomorrow. You are here for a short period of time. Why the fuck not? Why wouldn't you do what you love in life and be the best at it? And that's how you live life to the fullest. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to show others to do the same. And that's what I have for you.
Oh, I love that so much. I mean, I'm just getting pumped up hearing it myself, and so much more goodness from you on your podcast, the University of Young Entrepreneurs. I'm going to link to that in the show notes on our site, which is schoolofdreams.co. Again, that's schoolofdreams.co. Link to Brandon and all of his awesome content for you guys. And Brandon, before we sign off here, are there any last words or pieces of advice that you'd want to share with Dream Chaser Nation here before we let everybody go?
Like I said before, we all have a gift in life, and we just got to figure out what it is and pursue it. And it comes back to what I always say about Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. Whatever the mind conceives and believes, the mind achieves. If you believe in something, you can do it. I was a kid from a small town, Garnavillo. They got a 1.68 GPA in college. I wasn't the smartest kid, but I knew what I wanted, and I didn't let anybody else tell me what I could or could not do. I just went after it, believed in it, and I didn't quit until I got it. And all of you out there, you can do the same thing. Just go after it, achieve it, and you will live the best life you could ever live, and you're going to help a lot of people in the whole process.
That's fantastic, man. Well, and for everyone out there, feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help you, and we're going through the struggles, opportunities that all of you are too. And that's why it's so awesome to be able to do this show and help people to create the futures that they really deserve. Again, it was Brandon T. Adams. He's the man.
BT Adams 18. BT Adams 18 on Snapchat. If you know anything, look, you know that I'm a Snapchat guy. BT Adams 18. See my life. see what it's like. I will snap you back.
Yeah, Snapchat, for all the people who do not know right now, is going off. I mean, that is definitely a place if you're an entrepreneur or someone who's just trying to get your brand off the ground. You can do it on Snapchat. So definitely recommend hopping on there and, starting to record videos. I'm taking action on that, once a week. Going to build up on that. So really excited. And that's a great mention, dog.
Thanks, brother.
All right, brother, man. Well, it was a pleasure having you on the show. Dream Chaser Nation, keep going. Don't quit until you get where you're going. Life's too short to not live fully. Peace out.